Zarar, I'm so glad that you framed the introduction by saying that I have been attacked by every single side, because indeed, I think I must be one of those rare people who can be called a jingoist and an anti-national all at once for the
Yeah.
same reportage. तो मेरे साथ तो ये बहुत होता है और बहुत सालों से होता आया है. And also, we are talking about India and Pakistan and our region, but I'm in London right now on a fellowship, and I think different parts of the world are grappling with this idea of the boundaries of free speech in different ways. यहाँ पर, for example, Oxford and Cambridge are now looking at a legislation जहां पे ये चर्चा चल रही है कि are you supposed to just tolerate another person's view or respect it?
Yeah.
And imagine इस semantics को लेकर there is voting both in the UK Parliament and in these universities. And the cancel culture imposes itself from both sides, the extremes of the right and the extremes of the left. There was a very renowned university professor at Sussex just forced out of her job because of a certain position that she had, much like the author of the Harry Potter books, J.K. Rowling, on the trans community. So all I'm trying to say is that हम लोग, इसका कोई सिंपल जवाब नहीं है. ये जिन बाइनरीज में हम इन मुद्दों को समझते आए हैं, मुझे लगता है कि अब हम इतना जी चुके हैं कि ये बाइनरीज अब अप्लाई नहीं होती. I find dogma of all kinds actually abhorrent, which is probably why I get attacked from all sides, because मुझे सच में लगता है that I'm a free speech absolutist. मैं तो कुछ भी सुनने के लिए, as long as it's presented as a reasonably thought idea, no matter how much I may disagree with it, I am willing to engage with it. And therefore, there is that position, that lonely corner in which people like myself, find myself. आप इंडिया पाकिस्तान के संदर्भ में भी देखें तो I have no hesitation in saying कि I am not a global citizen. I'm an Indian. I speak as an Indian. I don't believe in a borderless world. That said, I am a product of my history. My father was born in Sialkot. My parents are a refugee family. They came to Delhi with nothing. Our first home was given to us on a refugee plot. I have many of the mixed up and down, schizoid relationships that all refugee families of the Punjab have with Pakistan. I have spent a lot of my professional energy reporting Pakistan. Some of my closest friends, including Munize, are across the border. Her mother was another very, very dear friend. As a rule, by the way, because I was listening to Vrinda saying, ki, let's acknowledge that none of us want to waste our energies on meaningless kerfuffles. As a rule, by the way, मैं कभी किसी पाकिस्तान टीवी चैनल पे नहीं जाती हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि what we already disagree on is so well known that it is such a tutu meme, it is a pointless conversation. But for friendship, for deep friendship, of the kind that I had with Asma and of the kind that I have with her daughter, I will always make that exception, irrespective of what the consequences may be or what the questions raised thereafter may be. But it's not that Munizi and I look at Kashmir the same way. It's not that Asma and I look at Kashmir the same way. It's not that we look at, the role of the Pakistan state in the same way. It's not that Munize looks at the role of the Indian state in the way that I do. So I think that we must acknowledge and be comfortable with our differences. And it's okay. It's absolutely okay. I don't feel frightened of differences. And I think censorship or self-censorship in particular begins where we start to be terrified of our differences, where we feel the need to alter our opinion because we think that we need to mirror the opinion of the person in front of us, whether it is to win brownie points on Twitter, whether it is to, get the approval of the dominant right wing or in India presently, or the very influential and in its own ways just as powerful left wing in India. I'm telling you, I have the approval of neither. I know that my work is very much ferociously my own. And it's okay. I'm comfortable with telling the truth as I see it, as I record it, as I chronicle it. And on this day, I just want to, because all of you have already spoken about all that is wrong, I just want to say that yesterday I heard a farmer at the protest site say, when these laws were repealed by Prime Minister Modi, he was making jalebis. And उन्होंने हमारे colleague, मेरे colleague, as Jyoti mentioned, I now am the editor of a digital platform called Mojo Story, and it has really given me a new, I would say, a new, passion for journalism that I had lost in my years in TV. But खैर, तो वो किसान, sorry Zara Alain, after this, वो किसान जलेबी बना रहे थे सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए the repeal of the farm laws. तो उनसे बोला गया कि ये आप मोदी जी से क्या कहना चाहेंगे? उन्होंने कहा हम मोदी जी से कहेंगे कि वो यहाँ आए, हम उनको भी जलेबी खिलाएंगे. So the same sort of leader whom they had criticized vociferously for 1 year, who was compelled in the end by a powerful people's movement to defer to the will of the people, was now being invited with grace and civility to come to the protest site to partake of the celebrations. This is a reminder to us that actually dissent is still alive. Actually, the power of people is still alive. Actually, the power of even the media that chooses to tell the stories is still alive, that we haven't lost our voice. And I agree with Jyoti that there is no question of giving up. There are, for every despairing story that we have another story where the voices of the people and the voices of those who speak for the people who don't have a voice continue to make our difference.
Fantastic.
So for a few minutes, let's grasp what works instead of talking about what doesn't.
Sorry to interrupt. That's such a positive note, I think, to move forward on.